Hey, it's Rich Tehrani with TMC. We are here at the IT Expo Tech Super Show, the 39th show, South Florida. We've got over 300 booths, over 250 speakers, 7,500 people expected. The exhibit hall opens tomorrow, actually, so very excited. And Stacy Hayes is with me. He works for a company called Assured Data Protection. Stacy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Rich, I'm great. I'm really excited to be here, and I've got a panel in 45 minutes, so I know you're not opening until tomorrow, but I hope we got some people here tonight.
Got a ton of people here. The place is packed, and we'll try to keep this interview under 44 minutes.
44 minutes.
To give you a couple of minutes to go upstairs.
Absolutely, sounds great.
All right, so from the name of your company, you know, it sounds like you have something to do with securing data or cybersecurity. Is that a good hunch?
It is. We are Rubrik's, and for those of you who don't know, Rubrik is kind of one of the leaders and disruptors in the disaster recovery data protection space. You know, really started in backup, but thanks to a very unique attribute to their technology, an immutable file system. They have this ability to protect data from malware and from ransomware attacks. No matter what happens, the data can't get infected and compromised. We're their MSP #1, so we moved with them about 7 years ago. We have operations globally. Here in the United States, I run a team that focuses on America. Over in Europe, I've got a team that focuses on EMEA and Asia Pac.
Sounds very exciting. So I mean, for the nowadays everything's crypto, so we have to describe it in like crypto terms. So it's like blockchain for data, blockchain for cybersecurity, almost, right? It's immutable. You can't do anything to it, and you can't. I guess you can't scramble it, and you always have access to it.
Yeah. So if you think about it, you think about some of the more notable breaches. I mean, you roll the clock back. This sounds like old times, but back when you know one of the first breaches that we all saw that made the headlines was Sony. And one of the things that happened there was, you know, the euphemism sounds kind of graphic, but, you know, the bad guys effectively rolled a grenade into their backups. So they lost everything. Not only all of their production systems were
That was Sony Pictures North Korea, right?
Yeah, correct. But they had no backups to recover from. The Rubrik technology protects you against that. So once I've taken a snapshot of your data with their technology, that fancy word we love to use, immutable, it means it cannot be altered. It's an append-only database, which means that once the snapshot's taken, it's pristine. Even if there's resident malware inside, I can extract the data from around the malware without reconstituting the virus. So it is the definition of backup that cannot be compromised by what we read about every day today, which is these malware attacks and ransomware.
Great. And so for the people watching, what are the best target audiences, or who can you help with your technology?
Great question. The reason we're here at the MSP Expo is because we're Rubrik's white label provider partner. And so what that means is that we enable traditional value-added resellers who want to pivot towards managed services. We accelerate them into the space. We do something called a white label, which allows them to take a contract down on their paper, even provide first call support. We hold special certifications with Rubrik, and so we take a very robust and active 24/7 level 2 support. Anything we can't fix is by definition something that only Rubrik can fix. And so we manage that escalation up to Rubrik, and then we own that problem all the way back down to the customer. So for a VAR as big as CDW, who adopted our services about 3 years ago, all the way down to small regionals, we have the ability to give them an instant route to market for Rubrik as a service. With zero capex. So it's you know, they're reselling our infrastructure in our secure data centers, in our 24/7, in our disaster recovery. They don't have to go get data centers. They don't have to invest in infrastructure. There is no build it and they will come, because we've already built it. And the most important thing about the program, Rich, is that most VARs would hear that and go, man, that sounds like lock-in. I can't get out. But what I've done is I've productized my proprietary management layer, and I license that separately. So it's kind of a crawl, walk, run scenario. a VAR is interested in the technology, it's interested in the space. Rubrik still today leads that space. I like to tell everybody 7 years later, it's a bet that I'm really still glad that I made. We can put them in that business nearly immediately, respond to, and what always is a customer says, hey, I've looked into Rubrik, I want to buy it from you, but I need it as a managed service. And so we come in, we have the ability to take that deal down. That VAR partner does 3, 4, 5, 6 deals and says, okay, I like this. I want to take more of the revenue stack. I want to invest in my own Rubrik, put it in my own data center. We license them the control plane, and they exit the program and keep running. And so I call it the door at the end of the hall. There is no lock-in to any VAR partner that would want to come in and do a white label program with us.
That's smart. That's smart. You take away the objection before the sale is made. So that's very good way of doing it. So what else can we expect in the future from your company?
Great question. We are extending that control plane to, if you think about detecting, and Rubrik's at the forefront of detecting bad things once it's captured inside of the backed up materials. We are moving more towards a active threat detection as a service offering. So you think about it, it's very natural, right? We're helping customers every day defend against bad guys, and they're saying, man, it'd really be good if you could have helped me not be in a position to recover. And so we're extending our control plane, obviously in the data center where we're very comfortable, at the application layer where we're very comfortable, to include active threat detection. So threats evolve over time. They don't just happen like that. Most threats happen over a period of weeks, if not months. And it's always a string of individually fairly innocent looking activities that, unless you string them together in the form of a storyboard, you don't really see what's happening often until it's too late. And so there's technology out there, it's called XDR technology, and we're again, much in the same way we operate with Rubrik, we're adopting that technology and delivering it as a service. So our specialty, our expertise is delivering as a service and enabling these VAR partners in the white label program. The technology that we create is that control plane, which is that door at the end of the hall. But as things are natural, we'll stay in our swim lane. It'll be around data protection, data recovery. It'll be automating and speeding up that process and making it more surgical. But we'll stay in our lane. We won't venture too far. It'll be around data protection, and it'll be around accelerating and just making that a better experience for the end customer, and also having a very strong eye on our route to market, which is the VAR channel.
So I just want to verify, that means you're going to help with threats, right? Threat detection as well?
Correct.
So it sounds to me like you've got ransomware, and one of the challenges with ransomware is the data is scrambled, you don't have access to it, and so we have numerous services for backing up to kind of combat that, and companies have gotten better. And then, of course, the hackers evolved to extortionware, where now they're releasing some of this data. And so now you're responding by trying to do a better job of protecting against any kind of attack, because ultimately, once a hacker has the data, they can also extort with the data, and you need to stop them from doing both, from scrambling the data as well as, or making it inaccessible, as well as releasing it on the internet.
Absolutely. So if you think about this typical recovery platform, you think about a typical attack. Something happened. When did it happen? I don't know. The logs start telling us it happened on Tuesday of last week. Well, today's Tuesday of this week. So what are we going to do? Oftentimes people try to recover from that. We call it using a butter knife versus a scalpel. They go back. Usually they go back and they go, okay, well, maybe Monday's good. And they spend a lot of time recovering Monday, only to find that Monday's no good. And so they end up going way back. And what are they doing there? They're going back typically too far, and they're going back typically too broad. Right. Because did it infect everything, or was it a small subset of their virtual machines or their environment that was infected? That has two impacts. One, you're cutting away good data that you don't have to. But the other thing, and you mentioned extortion, what is the blast radius? How bad is this problem? if you know exactly how bad the problem is, God forbid you have to, but you can negotiate with the bad guys if you know exactly where it is. And so that's still in the realm of passive threat detection. Rubrik enables us to do that with their tools, radar, sonar. Now they've even provided tools that automate the recovery of those once they've identified exactly with that scalpel where the problem is, automate the recovery of that. Still operating from a post-event perspective. Where we're going is into production, where there are abilities to track the signatures of bad guys in live time and give the customer the option. Again, we're not a SOC, we're still delivering as a service, but basically, it's a dashboard that says, hey, everything's green, and there's a couple of yellow things, and then all of a sudden that yellow turns red, and you're going to the customer and saying, look at that, draw your attention to this. Is this something that you want to be happening? And they may go, oh yeah, we're doing some data center migration, we're doing a lot of file changes. All of that is normal IT behavior. Okay, great, we'll clear the alert. But if they go, oh no, I don't know what any of that looks like, you give them the big red button to say, stop it before it happens. And so the goal with where we're going is to get to a place where you don't have to recover from these bad acts.
Excellent. Number one, this is really great. Thank you for spending some time with us. And number two, I really envy the people that aren't doing interviews and can be in your session. It sounds like it's going to be awesome.
Well, I got two of them. We're really excited. We're just thrilled to be here. We're just starting to spread our wings a little bit, and your show showed up on our calendar really quickly. We've got a person now that focuses just on expanding our reach into the traditional MSPs that want to add this type of service as a service. And then, like I said, we've made it work for anyone. So even some of the big guys who are like, look, I've got my own data centers, I've got my own people, we can teach them a lot about the route to market. And then this control plane that we created, we call it Protect View, is the world's best at managing multiple customer sites around the globe and managing their day-to-day activities around their data protection. We've got literally over 350 logos now in 40 countries over the last 7 years, so the growth has been phenomenal. Ransomware, unfortunately, has been a big part of driving that. A down economy drives that because an OPEX expenditure is preferable to a CAPEX in a down economy. So I think a lot of things are driving the end customer towards as a service. And so it's a timely topic for value-added resellers that are trying to make the turn towards MSPs. It's a very timely topic for an MSP who does a lot of things and wants to pick up a specialization. So it's hard to have a bad conversation about this right now, to be honest.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, and we're really glad to be here with you. Thanks again.